Make sure it shows up. Oh, she just said she's 5 minutes away.
Oh, perfect.
Cool. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our first Magnolia Parks Universe live show. We are all very excited. Lachlan is going to be joining us pretty soon. She was running a little late, which is totally fine. She'll just jump in. Say hi in the comments. And then I guess we'll just go ahead and introduce ourselves. Say how many times we've read this book, like reread it, or if it's our first time, and then what you rated it this last time you reread it.
On my way. Okay, well, my name is Rachel, and I've read Magnolia Parks. I've reread it once, and I gave it 5 stars both times that I read it.
Good?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought I froze for a second. Hello, I am Sam. I have read it like 1.5 times. I didn't get to finish it this time, but it's going to be a 5-star both times, so because I love it.
Love it. There's so many people. Say hi. Also in the comments, say how many times you've read it. If it's your first time, which I would love to know if it was your first time reading it, and what you rated it. I realized this was the 3rd time that I reread this.
I didn't realize you had read it again.
Well, I knew. So I read it the first time, and then I have some highlighted parts in my book. And I thought, okay, maybe I just did that whenever I was reading it the first time. Then I checked Goodreads, and I already had 2 extra dates. So yeah, I listened to the audiobook this time because it just came out, and it was actually really good. And I gave it 5 stars.
Who are the narrators?
Oh, I've never heard of them before. Let me check. They did a very, very good job though, because there's different accents and all that stuff. And the male narrator, who is Benjamin Noble, and then the female narrator is Ella Ray Smith. But they, for all the male parts, he did like all the different accents. So like if it was Jonah talking or someone else, Julian or someone else talking, Christian, they all had different accents. So it was easy to kind of like differentiate who was talking.
And Tom, how was his? Oh,
yeah. His was like, I mean,
so bad.
Yeah,
so bad.
Him. Okay, so someone said first time, 4 stars, addicting the first time I wanted the 3rd. Yeah.
That's a good way to describe the book, I think.
Yeah. Someone said read it for the first time and it was 5 stars. Yes. Read it for the first time about a year ago and it just sat on my shelf. I settled at 4. Okay. That's still pretty high rating. First time reading. Welcome. 5+ stars. We'll read. Yeah. Gave it 5 stars. So I feel like we all have our own favorite characters, but in the first book, a lot of characters were introduced. Like, who was your favorite? Like, if you had to pick a top one that you would just ride or die for in this book, who would it be?
I think we already know for me because I just said it, but yeah. Tom England. Yeah. I don't know. He's just so sweet.
Yeah. It's a boring answer, but I just love Magnolia so much. She can do no wrong. Even when she is wrong, I'm like, she's right. I just love her so much. And I think she's so funny. And yeah, I just love her.
Actually,
sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
It took me a little bit to get used to her the first time I read it, though. I'm like, okay, what? But you get used to her. And I think it's mainly just the way, could be the writing too, because I've never read writing like this before.
Right.
So maybe that was it as well. But I do love Magnolia.
Yeah, Magnolia is someone that I love how quirky she is with all of the brands and knowing just what everyone's wearing. I strive to be like that, where she can just pick out things like that.
What year,
What'd you say?
I said, what year? Is my internet messing up or is yours?
No. You're good. It's just it's when I talk, I can't hear you.
Okay.
So I was I've missed the beginning part of it, but you're fine. Okay. Your internet's fine. I would tell you if it was messing up. Tom is a definite favorite. First time 4 stars. I feel like me saying BJ is just I kind of like, I don't know. I love him so much. I think.
Me too.
And I guess it's hard to separate what happens in the later books because we've read all of them.
Yeah.
So I was like trying to just narrow it down to this book. But the ending of this book really got me again. Like I started tearing up once again when I was reading the end. So listen to the audiobook. Yeah. I definitely love Henry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a very valid comment.
Yeah.
They are very toxic.
You get more as to why they are the way they are, though, in their second book.
Yeah.
It makes more sense.
What was your favorite scene from this book?
Mm-hmm.
Could be a funny one. It could be a sad one.
I think probably when we find out, like, what happened, because it's just like, I'm not someone who can pick out little clues that the author sometimes drops for like, hey, you know, you should have known that this was coming. I didn't get that.
Mm-hmm.
And so when that happened, I'm like, what? Even though it should be a favorite, but still.
I was just like, when we were waiting to go live, I just like very quickly reread that scene. And it's so good. Like it gives me like chills to think about. Like obviously it's terrible. And I remember fully crying. I like sent Lachlan and Hannah like a voice note of me like just scream crying because I was shocked. Like I did not expect it. Yeah. And I just reread it and I was like, it's a really good scene. I mean, it's not, but I think it's really well written and like the emotion really gets across. So I love it. It's like a scene out of every, you know, out of all the books I've read, it like really sticks out to me as really shocking. So I love it and I hate it.
Yeah. It's like bittersweet. You're like, we'll be talking spoilers, obviously, for everyone in the comments, but it seems like everyone's already read it at least once. But it's one of those scenes where it's bittersweet because you just, you finally figured out what happened, but at the same time, you're like, oh my God, this is what happened. Hi.
Hello.
You made it. Not too late. Perfect.
I'm like out of breath. I like ran upstairs.
No, you're good. So we just asked how many times you've read it, what's your star rating, your favorite character, and your favorite scene. That's all we've gotten.
5 stars, 2.5 times. Well, I started the audiobook, but I didn't finish it. My favorite characters, definitely the main characters, but also really love Julian. I'm a slut for Jules. And obviously BJ Magnolia, but yeah. Did I answer everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have a favorite scene?
Oh, the dressing room. The Gucci dressing. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah. No, I forgot about that until when I was listening to the audio. I was like, oh.
It's good.
A lot of people love Tom, Christian, Daisy. Someone said Daisy. And someone said the reveal is great, but I thought it was going to be her sister, not her best friend. Yeah, I didn't see it coming either. Like, I did not pick up the clues. Now, like, rereading, I'm like, wow, she actually did put a lot of clues in this book. But I did not.
I guess it's like one of those things where, like, when you reread, like, ACOTAR, you pick up on all the little tiny things you know before.
Some foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Exactly. Someone said, I need BJ and Magnolia to have more character growth. Yeah. So, because I think she said it's BJ and Magnolia are going to have 3 books, right?
This next one that's coming out is their last book.
Yeah. So, definitely in Long Way Home, you see a lot more.
Yes.
Specifically from BJ and what he's gone through. And then, of course, is it Into the Dark? Is that the title? Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I love that title. It's so cool.
Yes. And I'm just like, what is the cover going to look like? I need to know what the cover looks like. They are a toxic mess.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep. Yes, Lexi, this is exactly. So Lachlan, since you listened to the audio or you started listening to it, how did you feel about it?
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah,
I was
so good.
I was nervous just a little bit because I was like, this writing is something very different. than like normal romance books. So I didn't know how it was going to come across in an audio. So it took me a little bit to like get into the audio, but I think they did a really good job with like the emotions, with telling the story, and like just all of it.
Yeah. I'm just a sucker for the accents too. I'm like, yes. So.
It was, is it Paley?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I did not have a clue as to like that going on, like who it was or whatever. And I was like, I remember whenever I first read it, I was like sweating profusely. My hands, my entire body. I read it. I was like furious. I went and took a shower and I just stood in the shower for like an hour being like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Someone said it made me so mad that BJ was like, I cheated because I wanted to. He will.
Yeah.
Just wait.
Trust it.
Could you imagine seeing this in a movie though? Like,
that'd be crazy.
That I think would work.
Yeah.
Really? You think that?
Yeah, most books I'd be like, oh hell no. Like ACOTAR, cancel that. We don't need that. Magnolia, sure.
Yeah. I think if it was done right, it would be so cool. Like, oh my God, if they could get all like the fashion right and just really, really right actors, I think it would be really good.
Yeah. I didn't know that it's going to have her face on it.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that either.
Interesting.
Wait, what? What was that? Someone's.
Justice said in an interview that the Into the Dark cover is going to have Magnolia's face on it.
Oh, I'm scared.
Which one? Because they're making 2 covers. So I'll
Yeah.
be curious if that's the new one or the indie one.
It would be the newer covers, right? Because that kind of matches with like the
Yeah, I think if there's going to be a face on it, it'll be the newer ones. So
yeah,
They probably won't do. Yeah, okay. I'm not gonna.
I had the new covers out at Barnes & Noble yesterday when I went, and they're actually like super floppy. Like it's a nice paperback. I don't like the cover.
Yeah, but a good paperback, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a line where Magnolia was like, it was clicking in her head. And she was like, you know, she's been around the whole time. She's been with me the whole time. Like she cried when I found out. And like just all of that, I was just like, wow. Like, how can you stick by someone knowing what you did? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just that ending where she takes off his necklace and like throws it on the ground. And then she gets in the car. It's just, I listened to it last night before I was going to bed. So it's still like fresh in my head. But where he was like sobbing and crying and just like screaming, and Jonah was trying to hold him back. I was like, I could just picture it.
Oh yeah.
Just picture it like a movie. Yeah, Pal, I don't think she could ever be redeemed in my mind. Like I don't know if she's even gonna go there in the books, but
Has she showed up in any of the books?
I think like in passing,
she's like in The Long Way Home, but like so briefly, I remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Magnolia passes her on the street.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. But I will say, the whole time that Magnolia thought it was Tara,
Mm-hmm.
Sachs or whatever, and then that scene where she like kissed her to get the like paparazzi, I was like, yes. We love that. We love that. Well, one thing I love about this book, and you guys can like chime in or whatever, is the writing. I know we like all touched on it, but I think that when the first time I read it, after like Sam talked about it, I saw Lachlan talk about it, and then I saw Rachel talk about it. I was like, I'm so interested because the cover looks unlike anything, but the way that she wrote it is probably one of the most unique writing styles. And I think that's why people are so just like crazy about it, because it's told from like a kind of like an autobiography. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm telling you about my life and everything that happens, completely unfiltered, with good, the bad, the ugly type of a thing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the run-on sentences that are actually really good.
Yeah, I love the like it's almost like, you know, I was just looking at like one of BJ's chapters and he'll be like talking about what's going on. And then he kind of like checks in with the reader to be like, by the way, like, this is what I meant, or like, this is what, like, oh, like, here's this guy, by the way, I hate him or whatever. Like, I think it's so cool and it's so engaging because you kind of feel like you're so a part of the story with him and all of them.
Yeah. I remember being like 150, 200 pages in and I'm like, wait, I'm reading?
Yeah, totally. It's so engrossing and like just so pretty too. Like the quotes in this book are insane. It's like super romantic, but then very reality, real life. Feel like you're just talking to them. She's really talented. That's why I just love these books so much because they're so different from anything else I've read.
Yeah. And the way like none of us live lives like that, but like you still can relate.
Yes, totally.
Yeah, there's this, I highlighted a lot, but the last paragraph where she said, "Can you die from a broken heart? Do you know? And if I did, and they cut me up wide open, would I bleed loving him? And they lift my heart out of my chest cavity to weigh it. Does it weigh the same as his top lip?" Like that, when I listened to it, it still made me tear up. Like just that one paragraph, the way that she wrote it, it was so, I don't know, there's so many quotes I feel like I can pull out, but.
Totally.
Someone said, my computer's running slow. I don't know if it showed up. BJ wanted to tell her the truth when it happened, though. Fine, he listened to his friends. Yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
I mean, I feel like it was a hard thing to tell because he knew that it was going to really like fuck her up, you know? Like really badly. Hi, welcome. Yes. The first time I read it, it did take me a little bit to adjust because it was so different. But I don't think outside of all of her books, I don't think I read anything.
I think the only thing that I remember, and I don't even think it's similar, is Shatter Me to Haramafi. She like, especially at the beginning of the book, it's so just.
Yeah. That's an interesting comparison. I did DNF Shatter Me because I think I wasn't prepared for like that writing style.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I actually just read Shatter Me, and that was like, it was a trip trying to like grasp, get my footing while reading that book. Like it was tough.
Did you listen to the audio or were you guys physically reading it?
I listened to the audio along with physically reading it.
Yeah. I was physically.
At the same time?
Mm-hmm.
See, I tried to, I think it was like 2 years ago, I tried to listen to the audio, and because it was so different, just listening to the audio, I couldn't like connect. I was like, what in the world was going on? So I think one of those, like if I tried to physically read it, I would have like a different.
I read those books like years ago before I started YouTube, so.
Everyone in this friend group is toxic in one way or the other. Besides Henry. I feel like Henry is just like amazing.
And Tom.
And
they're all very codependent and
everyone, honestly, everyone except for like Tom, every character in the book is very flawed, but like that's reality. People are really flawed, and like Jessa just really hones in on and like digs into what makes these people good people, bad people, everything in between. So I would definitely like get your mind in that place when you're reading these books for sure, because there's a lot that happens. So
yeah, everything, like people, I mean, in general, we're not black and white. There's a lot of gray area, and she really dives into that gray area, like just with the whole BJ and Magnolia thing with him cheating. You find out that it's not just black and white. You know, there's a very, very, very big explanation.
Yeah.
BJ did a really crappy thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just heartbreaking that when it happened, he like literally ran over and was like, "I'm sorry. This is what I did." Yes. That is just the tip of everything.
What did you all think of Daisy, like the very first time you met her?
I liked her. I wasn't like, I don't think I was like super taken with her right away. Like just because, I mean, I knew that we had her book coming forward. So I was kind of like, she's cool. Like Obviously, her and Magnolia have their differences, but I was excited to see what those differences were. So I liked her. I didn't have a super strong opinion about her, honestly.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Same.
I don't think I was crazy about her, but then I'm like, there's always two sides. So read her book.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. You don't get a lot of her in Magnolia Parks because she has her own book, but you get that glimpse of her, and that glimpse, you're like, I don't know how I feel about her. That's kind of how I like. I don't know how I'm gonna feel about her, but in her book, I definitely loved her. But I think it's interesting the way that she writes it from Magnolia's point of view, basically, and then Daisy's point of view. I mean, obviously the boys too, but they're very different women, and they're like, I feel like they're polar opposites.
Yeah.
So I like that she does go back and forth with them in their stories. I don't know. I felt it was just a really cool way that she did that because they're polar opposites.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like in my head, the full box set, they live in London and they are living their life and they are going to brunch and all. Like I see them living like in real life.
Yeah.
I think about that with the Addicted series. And I thought that I would think that with Magnolia Parks, but it's interesting because it's not as much that I do that. But was that me?
That's me. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was like, wait. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, they do feel really real.
Yeah, I want to listen to the audiobooks too.
I was nervous. I was like, maybe I should just try to. Oh my god, maybe I should try to not listen to it and just physically read it because I was just so nervous. But it actually turned out really well. I did have to slow it down a lot. I can usually listen at like 2.25 maybe, but I had to slow it down to like 1.75 because of the cadence of they read the book. Like you're just like reading and it's just at a normal pace, but when the characters get worked up, the narrators speed up their words.
Jessa went through a lot of voice actors for those audiobooks, like a lot. She was very particular about like the voices for each of the characters. Yeah,
I think she did a really good job picking them though.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Henry was the only one that didn't know. I'm pretty sure Henry, because he started crying when he put her in the cab.
Yeah, I can't remember now.
This is a really good comparison, actually, of how Daisy reminded her of.
Oh yeah. I told you, Carrie, I was like, you're gonna love Daisy. Just wait. And then she was like, oh my god, I love Daisy. She reminds me of Nesta. And I was like, I knew it.
Yeah. But I think she wrote her on purpose that way.
Oh yeah.
I don't know, because if you think about it, Magnolia doesn't have any other women besides her sister in her life. That's like prevalent in her book. Everyone else is kind of just in the background because I feel like it's like Magnolia's world and everyone else is just like living in it. So I think it was on purpose that she made her so in the background.
Yeah.
It does suck that she was the last to know. Yeah, I thought it was Henry. But you have to remember, like, that kind of thing would be so damaging, not just to Magnolia and BJ, but their whole friend group.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's either it's so messy. There's no black and white. There's a gray area. And I feel like we can like go back and forth on like why they should have or why they shouldn't have said anything. Yeah, Daisy's great. The first sentence of Daisy's book is one that like I love so much.
So good.
I'm so excited to reread. Have you guys reread Daisy at all?
Mm-mm.
No.
I'll be excited to read it.
I've read them all I've read them all twice. I was gonna say except for The Great Undoing, but I mean, yeah, but I've also read that one twice.
I've read Magnolia and Daisy twice, but I never continued with The Long Way Home. I've only read that one once, so I'm excited to like get into that one again because I feel like that one's even like
it's heavy.
Yeah,
that's rough.
Yeah. 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 Christian is another one where you get to know more about him, and he's just as messy as all of them. And it's great.
I love Christian so much.
Yeah, me too. I don't think there's any characters I don't like except for the ones I'm not supposed to like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same.
Was it Perry? Is it Perry?
Yeah.
Callie's friend or something?
Yeah, Perry.
Yeah.
I didn't like it. I didn't like them either. Yeah. It was very sweet. For some reason I thought we got more Julian in this book. But we didn't, like with Magnolia and Julian.
Yeah.
The parts that I remember with Jules is he gets her like this $500 drink, and then she's like, ew. And I just remember being like, I will drink your $500 drink.
That was so good.
Love it.
Yeah. I love the glimpse of Julian. Yeah. Yeah. It's very interesting the way that like Magnolia Parks and The Long Way Home are truly Magnolia and BJ's books, right?
Yeah.
But then you have Daisy, which is Daisy Hates, and then The Great Undoing. That's Daisy, Christian, and Julian's book. And it's so interesting the way that she wrote those three characters. So I'm interested to see what people, if they read it for the first time and like the next live show, how they're going to feel
Yeah.
about that.
The writing's a little different in Daisy too, so
It's truly like a reflection of who they are as a person. I think, Sam, we talked about this before when we were reading it, and I think I told you this, is that how Magnolia this is Magnolia's world and everyone's living in it. So it's very poetic, very romantic, very flowery writing. Same thing with BJ, because he is very similar in that way. But then Daisy is very like analytical and logical. So her writing is very much like that. And there's a clear difference of when we go to Julian's point of view and when we go to Christian's point of view. And it literally truly reflects them as a person, which I find so interesting. I feel like I can like dissect her writing and like talk about it all day. So just really love it. Someone said, I'm intrigued. Yeah. Definitely. I watched a podcast that she was on, like a little snippet that Jessa was on. And she said that she didn't even know who like Colleen Hoover was, that she didn't even know like romance. She's never really read romance, but yet she wrote these masterpieces.
Dang.
Interesting.
Yeah, she doesn't know like about like tropes. I mean, she probably does now, but like tropes and that, like when people were like, "Oh, this book has fake dating," she was like, "What? Like, I don't even know. Like, why is my book being advertised that way?" Like, she didn't understand that.
Well, you know what? It might be like why they are so good and so loved, because not to get too much into it, but romance is feeling very much the same. So the fact that she doesn't know anything about it, it's fresh. Yeah.
And it's like a genuine story. Like, yeah, I don't want to dive too much into this topic, but sometimes you feel like books are being written just to fit like a trope that like does well or something. And it's not even like a genuine story is there. But I feel like a genuine, like this came from Jessa's head and she had to put it onto words. Like it feels very, very real. So
yeah.
I just want to be like, who hurt you?
Yeah.
Like,
to
have you write this type of book? Like, who really hurt you? You know what? I totally forgot this was her debut book.
Yeah, that's awesome.
She has written other books before, but they were not published. Yeah, she has them on like the back burner, and I don't know if she ever plans on, but she's written books before Magnolia. It just wasn't like a published deal. But yeah, technically it was debut because first published.
I would love to read anything that she writes.
Yeah.
I just find her so, and I don't know if you guys follow her on Instagram, like anyone in the comments, but she's hilarious.
Yeah.
Like her sense of humor is, you can see it in her books, the way that she puts it, because she's kind of like that, which I find very interesting too. Is there anything else in this book that you guys want to like touch on? There was a lot that happened.
I can't think of anything.
Oh, the dad and the nanny?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't see that coming either.
No.
It kind of like pales in comparison to like everything else that goes on in the book. It's kind of almost this, I mean, it's not funny, but it's kind of just like I do the way that Magnolia talks about it is really funny, which I liked. She has a good sense of humor.
Yeah.
Like the way she leaked it.
Yeah.
On purpose, clearly, just to piss off her dad. I thought that was funny. I can't think of anything else.
Lexi.
It's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even question
her nanny her whole life, and then it just kind of like extended into like being almost like a family member.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
I've never had a nanny, but I would, if I did, I could see how someone growing up with someone like a caretaker like that could become like a mother figure.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Sure. Yeah. Well, do you guys have anything else in the comments? I'm trying not to like, I'm trying to separate like where this book ends and the next one starts.
It's really hard to not like be swayed. So like just going off of this is like, keep yourself in a box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're all like sitting here like, haha, I know what happens.
See, how do people get on stuff like this? I'm like,
no, I didn't even get it. I didn't even realize this.
I think I remember like catching on to that, and the first time I read it, I was like, oh, okay. Like
yeah, I think there was something that I was like, yeah, this is gonna happen.
Yeah, see, no, I didn't get that. So a lot of people have asked me, like, can you read these books out of order? Like, can you read Daisy Hates by itself and then read The Great Undoing? Do you guys think that?
People can do whatever they want at the end of the day. But for an ideal reading experience, no. Like if you want to experience the series the way that it's supposed to be, it's meant to be written, you can read any book out of order, but like it's going to be chaos, you know? So that's my opinion.
You're doing yourself a disservice if you don't read these in the order that the author intended, because they are connected in a way, and you'll see that when you do it. I just don't really would skip them. Like just read them all. They're all good.
Yeah. But I've been asked that question a lot too, and I always say this is what the author recommends, this is what I recommend, but you know what? You do you live your life however you want.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I don't remember Justice saying anything in particular.
Yeah, she said on a podcast, she was like on a podcast a few days ago, and I've just seen some stuff from it. I didn't watch it, but I saw a little recap that Clara England, Tom's sister, is getting a book, which is like very off the, I don't remember anything really about her.
Wait, it's Tom's sister-in-law, right?
Or sister-in-law, yeah. Clara England, whoever that character is, she will get a POV at least. I don't know what that contains, but yeah.
Maybe we can talk about this offline because it's ringing a bell and yeah.
Yeah.
She said that she doesn't plan on I don't want to break your dreams or anything, but she says she doesn't plan on giving Tom a book or anything. So I don't know. But yeah, I would love that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Bridget is very interesting. I like her a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Her sister. Yeah, I did like that.
Tom's a good guy.
His books would be so good.
But I feel like he wouldn't be as messy as like some of these other characters. So I think
I'm gonna petition. I'm gonna start a petition. Justin Hastings, you need to write it.
Oh, that's okay. You can go back and rewatch. It's totally fine. Yeah, I don't think. I know a lot of people said something about Henry, and I don't think she said. I think she said no to Henry, right?
Yeah, she confirmed that Henry and Tara and who's the other one in the left. Yeah, they are not getting a book, she said.
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of people have asked for that.
And I think you get a glimpse of that in Magnolia. It's like mentioned twice, so that's not a spoiler, but.
So BJ and Magnolia get 3. Daisy, Christian, Julian get
4.
4. Okay. So is Julian going to have an HEA, or is he just going to be SOL?
HEA or SOL? Those
Yeah.
are the options.
You better.
He deserves it.
Yes. I love Henry.
He's just a precious little.
So sweet. Such a good friend.
Yes. Considering,
Yeah.
like, it's his brother and his literal best friend from birth.
I compare it to like Gibbsy a little bit. Gibbsy is a little bit more quirky, but love. 10 out of 10.
Yeah, that's a very good comparison. I didn't think about that, but that is a very good comparison. Well, cool. I don't know if you guys have anything else. It was a pretty short live show. I feel like we're all like trying to keep in everything. Like, I don't want to say too much, but let us know in the comments if you have anything else. If not, thank you guys for joining for our first live show. We'll be reading Daisy next month, and then we'll post the date for the live show on Instagram and stuff. But yeah, thank you guys for joining. I really appreciate you joining in on this read along. Thank you guys in the comments, and we will see you later. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.